The Screen News Digest is presented to the students of Maryland as a public service by the Sun Papers of Baltimore.
The place is Dien Bien Phu in French Indochina. The year is 1954. The lonely jungle outpost, surrounded by communist guerrillas and accessible only by air, is doomed, just as the once mighty French colonial empire in Southeast Asia is doomed. This is the end of 8 years of bloody fighting in Vietnam, a shadowy, sinister war that has cost France dearly. A war whose last great tragedy is the final fateful surrender of the garrison at Dien Bien Phu. At Geneva, half a world away, Vietnam is carved in two as the weary and discouraged French hand over the northern part to the communists. The Red Star is raised over Hanoi, capital city of the new communist state, as the tide of tyranny surges southward, and the people, young and old, make ready to greet the victorious Red Armies. The conquerors come with promises of peace and no new aggression against the South. But peace under communism is not for these Vietnamese. Almost 1 million refugees turn their faces from red rule and flee with only the clothes on their backs. And in South Vietnam, they help make a miracle come true. Farmlands are redistributed so that peasants own their land and reap the benefits of their toil. And year after year, starting with 1954, the rice harvest grows greater and greater. The determined, hard-working people prosper under freedom, while their neighbors to the north watch with growing envy and apprehension. With technical assistance from America and the free world, South Vietnam sets out to develop its natural resources, to mine the coal that, for example, is the nation's single most important mineral. Thus, from an economy born in post-war chaos, comes a country with currency reserves at a record high. Near the southern coast of South Vietnam is the picturesque gateway to the ancient land, the port city of Saigon. More than 2 million persons live in the teeming metropolis, with tree-lined streets and broad boulevards that preserve the memory of the departed French. Here can be found, more than in any other place, the contrast between old and new in South Vietnam. Here schools are filled with children learning to read and write, in a land where illiteracy has been a legacy from generation to generation. Education, cornerstone of freedom, has found enthusiastic support in the new country, and enrollment in elementary schools has tripled in the last 6 years. A deeply religious people, the South Vietnamese have found strength in their Buddhist faith, strength to survive the early trials of independence, and to lift their hearts and eyes gratefully, hopefully. President of the Republic is Ngo Dinh Diem, staunchly anti-communist, who has won the respect of his people by leading South Vietnam since its founding. Today, Diem faces perhaps the greatest challenge of all. Once again, free men, this time Vietnamese, must arm and defend themselves and their country against communist infiltration and sabotage. The United States, determined that the people of South Vietnam shall choose their own way of life, is sending technical and military help, machines and men, to the strategic outpost in Southeast Asia. In 5 years, America has spent $2 billion here. In addition, 4,500 GIs are on duty in South Vietnam, and the number soon will be boosted to 7,000. The Vietnamese troops are eager to absorb U.S. techniques and combat tactics. They will need them in the battle with the communist Viet Cong guerrillas, who wage an ugly, elusive war, shooting, running, hiding, and then striking again, here, there, and everywhere. It is war come back. Come back to a people who thought they were done with war 8 long years ago. But they fight it, knowing that no sacrifice is too high, no price too great, when freedom, their freedom, is at stake.